Council meeting on October 14th. It is 7 p.m. Mine does not work. How about this one? Maybe? How about both?
Chip,
How about that?
Chip, can you get the volume?
All right. Now, there we go. I got two mics. So let's stand for Pledge Allegiance. Please, the Pledge of Allegiance. I suppose I'll leave. Ready? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. As usual, I will ask everyone to make sure their cell phone ringers are turned down or into airplane mode. Place your phones into airplane mode. Technical. I'm feeding back, Chip. Here it comes. Has everyone had the opportunity to read the financial reports, take a look at the financial reports and approve them?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call, excuse me.
Mr.
yes, sir.
Gibson.
Here.
Ms. Cole. Here. Mr. Theobald. Here. Mr. Mayor. Yes, here. Mr. Stewart. Yes. Mr. Staton. Here. Thank you.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the financial reports submitted by Mr. Waite?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You can vote.
If everyone has had the opportunity to approve the minutes, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting? September 22nd specifically. I'll second.
All in favor?
Good times, good times.
I wasn't
Oh, okay, five, you abstained. Thank you. Gotcha.
All right, at this time, I understand that we have Chief Short here from CJ Fed to come and have a little conversation with us. Come on up, sir, if you're ready. We're ready. Your microphone should be on. I see a little red light.
Good evening. For those that don't know me, I'm Roy Short, Fire Chief for Central Joint Fire District. For those that don't know me, I'm Roy Short, Fire Chief, Central Joint Fire District. Still can't hear? I've been the fire chief here since April 2nd of this year. Prior to that, I was the assistant chief for over 20 years. I started as a volunteer with the BMOP Fire Department, currently where our Station 11 is on 125, in 1991. I also worked for the Batavia Fire and Rescue prior to it becoming part of the Central Joint Fire District. I've been serving this community for over 34 years. I'm a resident of the district and lived here the majority of my life. Serving this community has been my life's work, and I'm very invested and passionate about it. I also stand here representing 37 of the most dedicated, hardworking, and best trained professionals in the region. Our staff are the heart and soul of the district. The district has a fire and emergency medical services levy on the ballot November 4th. This November represents the most important need for the community to support your fire and EMS in my 34 years. The last tax levy was passed in 2010. That's been 15 years ago. Funding has been stretched farther than expected, and demand has outpaced our resources. In 2010, the district responded to 3,720 emergency calls. By 2024, that number had climbed to 6,362 emergency calls. That's a 71% increase in demand. The community has grown, and with it, the need for fire and EMS services has grown even faster. The district is responding to an average of 18 to 20 calls for fire and EMS services per day. This is being done out of 2 stations with a minimum of 8 staff. Our staff are responding to the highest number of calls per day per employee in the greater Cincinnati area. The district is often being called to more calls for service than we can cover with our current staffing. This has caused an increased reliance on our neighboring mutual aid partners. In addition to the number of calls per day outpacing our current resources, our response time to emergencies falls short of the national standards. The National Fire Protection Agency sets a standard of 5 minutes and 20 seconds to fire and EMS calls. Our current average response time is 7 minutes and 3 seconds. That average includes response times of over 10 minutes to the western portion of the district. It's the western portion of the district that has seen the most increase in calls and population. Why is this important? According to U.S. Fire Administration, fire is fast and getting faster. The U.S. Fire Administration also states public awareness of common fire risk is critical to saving lives and drastically reducing property loss. The public needs to understand that today's structure fires can go from small flame to fully engulfed flashover in just 3 to 5 minutes, leaving little time to escape. Fire is not the only emergency that's time critical. Emergency medical calls account for approximately 75% of our total call volume. During a heart attack, time is heart muscle death. During a stroke, time is brain tissue death. These are just 2 examples of how critical response time is in emergency medical calls. The district is also responding with an aging fleet. With our call volume, fire trucks should run front line for no more than 10 years. After 10 years, they'll run an additional 10 years as reserve units. Our current frontline fire trucks are currently 11 years old. The cost to replace them is $1 million each. Our frontline and only ladder truck is currently 19 years old with a new replacement cost of $2 million. We also have 2 frontline paramedic units in need of being replaced at $350,000 each. Having stretched the last tax levy in 2010 for 15 years, the district does not have the capital funds to replace this equipment without this new tax levy. What can we do? By passing this most critical tax levy in November, the district will build at least 1 new station with a goal of 2 new stations in the 10-year levy cycle. Adding stations is the only way to reduce response times. The new stations will allow reduced response times to the areas farthest from the existing stations, while those who live closest to the existing stations will see the resources at those stations be more available for their immediate area. It's very important to know that the district currently responds out of these 2 fire stations. 1 station on State Route 125 was built in 1950, and the firehouse on Old State Route 32 was built in 1984. A new fire station has not been built in over 40 years. In comparison, Union Township operates out of 6 fire stations, and Miami Township operates out of 4. The district will also add more staffing and replace aging fire engines, ambulances, and equipment. It's also critical to note, in 2023, the district was awarded a federal FEMA SAFER grant. This grant allowed the district to add 6 additional firefighter EMTs. The cost of salaries and benefits are covered by the grant for 3 years. The grant expires in 2026. Without this new levy, the district will not have the funding to retain these 6 employees. Without a new levy, our current overstretched resources will continue to decrease. We cannot afford to lose these 6 employees. What is the cost of the levy? The millage for the requested levy is 4.9 mils per $1 of taxable value, which amounts to $172 for each $100,000 of county auditor's appraised value. I'd also like to address a few comments from social media. If the Central Joint Fire District wants to tie their wagon to the village, perhaps a failed levy will enlighten them to the fact that we're the big dog in this fight. They, the Central Joint Fire District, have never shown opposition to anything in the village. We should all understand that in 2001, the voters of Batavia Township and Batavia Village voted to create a joint fire district with these 2 entities. The fire district is governed by a fire district board that is comprised of 2 township officials, 2 village officials, and a citizen at large. The fire district's an independent entity, but is governed by elected officials from each, the township and the village. The fire chief reports to those elected officials. In summary, the district has been good stewards of the public's money. We've stretched every dollar to the fullest. We have aggressively pursued grant funding for equipment and staffing, lessening the burden on our taxpayers. Without additional funding, the district will not be able to continue to provide the excellent service the community has enjoyed. The district is currently 3rd lowest in tax millage of all fire and EMS departments in Claremont County, the 3rd highest in call volume. With the proposed tax levy, the district will be in the middle of the tax millage for fire and EMS departments in Claremont County. There are currently a lot of political concerns going on in this community. We ask that you take the time to understand the critical needs of the district. These needs are to ensure the life safety of each and every resident, visitor, and person who works in the district. We further ask that you consider these needs and not vote against this fire and emergency services levy just because you disagree with decisions made by elected officials. Please don't put politics in front of life safety. Should this levy be defeated, I am concerned for the life safety of my family, my neighbors, and my entire fire district community. I placed some signs out in the lobby for fire levy support. They're yard signs. Please take one home with you, put it in your yard, and show your support for your fire department. Thank you. Thank you, members of council.
It's my metal plate in my head. Thank you, Chief. Now we'd like to invite Denny Moel, Chief Director of the Claremont County Mental Health and Recovery Board, to come speak. Thank you, sir. I hope I got your name right. I apologize if I did not.
Yeah, it's Mel, it's all good.
Mel.
It's not German stuff.
All right. Thank you.
Let's get some handouts in my cards for you guys. Thank you all for allowing me to be here tonight. I'm Denny Mel. I'm the Associate Director from the Claremont County Mental Health and Recovery Board. What we do with the Mental Health Recovery Board, our services, we serve all of Claremont County. So we're one of 50 boards in the state of Ohio. So we are tasked with assessing the behavioral health needs for the county and then planning for how best to meet those services. We work on acquiring funding, and then we evaluate the services that are provided. We contract with agencies to provide the services, and what I'm asking for is tonight is support for our renewal levy. That's going to be on the ballot on November 4th. I did bring some handouts in. They're in the back there. It kind of gives you an overview of some things. It also will direct you to our website so you can find out a lot of other information. We have a levy landing page. The levy accounts for about 1/3 of our funding. We run off of about a $9 million budget a year, and with that $9 million, we serve roughly 25,000 Claremont County residents. So about 1/3 of our funding comes from the levy. It's around $3 million, and then we get another 1/3 of our funding comes from a combination of state and federal funds, and then we also write a lot of grants. So we're dependent on grants for about 1/3 of our funding right now. We've seen an increase in the need for services, a big increase in the area of crisis intervention. I'm the crisis intervention coordinator for the county. Levy funding helps pay for our mobile crisis team, which goes out in the community with law enforcement to assess when there's behavioral health emergencies, mental health issues that are going on in the community. And then also our 24-hour, 7-day-a-week crisis hotline is funded through that. Our school-based mental health services, so we have counselors in all the schools. We utilize levy funding to pay for that. There's no other funding source for that. You know, we're not mandated to provide those services, but that's a service that the taxpayers of the county have told us that they want, they appreciate, and so we work to provide that service. So we are just simply asking for the renewal. What it means to taxpayers is $15 a year per $100,000 valuation. So $100,000 is 15 bucks, $200,000 is 30 bucks, $300,000 is 45. So we're still running off a 2015 valuation, so we're not asking for any kind of increase. We want to be able to keep doing the things that we're doing right now. You know, we get good feedback. People report that their quality of life has been improved because they're able to be involved in the services. Their kids are able to get services. They're accessible and they're available here in Clermont County. And so we want to be able to keep things going without doing any cuts or anything like that, because then that means we serve less people. And we don't want to do that because the need is growing, the population is growing, so we need to work on meeting those needs. And we also know that when we are meeting those needs, that folks are more productive. A couple big things that we really work to do is to keep people out of the hospital so they can stay working, keep people out of jail so they can be productive and they can be contributing. That's really all that I had to say. We are endorsed by the Township Association of Clermont County. We're endorsed by the Chiefs Association, the Chiefs Police Association for Clermont County, the Educational Service Center. We've got a much longer list if you pull up our website. We're running some Facebook ads and things like that too. You can check out the reels if you go to the website. If you have any questions or anything, I put cards back there. If you think of something after tonight, don't hesitate to reach out. Be happy to talk with you. Thank you all very much.
I have one quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
I heard you speak last week, and you brought forth a stat I think the people here should hear as well. It was for every dollar you receive, how many dollars does that save the community?
Oh, $4. Yeah, $4. Yep. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you for reminding me of that. It is a big stat. Yeah, it really is. It's important. I mean, it keeps people functioning and keep people productive, you know. That's what we work on, is the stability. And so good cost savings. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we say we're scrappy, you know. We do a lot with a little bit of money.
Thank you, Mr. Moe, of the Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board. At this time, we'd like to open the floor to the public comment portion of our meeting. We got 3 minutes per. I'm not sure how many folks we have. We got 30 minutes total to dedicate to this. Mr. Fisher, top of the list. Welcome.
Nice pen right there. I appreciate that. Some good pilot money. You probably purchased that. Hey, first off, Roy, thank you so much for showing up. Roy, busy man, took time out of his day. Also appreciate the fire department being up there at the township. I didn't have an opportunity to make it to the village this last weekend. Speaking of numbers, you know, I think the fire department is definitely probably a service that is more worthy of a levy than any other. Nothing against mental health or anyone like that, but like Roy said, but I also think it's a multi-pronged approach. I went ahead and looked at some of the math here. I made a beautiful Excel spreadsheet a few weeks ago, and $9.1 million diverted from the fire department with full build out of all the. I bet that could buy quite a few fire trucks right there, and probably hire some additional firefighters as well. I know the mental health folks left. It's $938,000 over 15 years. Multiply that by 4. Let's just go ahead and call it $4 million, you know, potentially diverted away. And I think another important thing to point out is developmental disabilities. You know, One thing that, these abatements, you guys making rich developers richer, I know you're very proud of it, but these abatements and these services that you guys take money away from, they actually hurt the most vulnerable people in the community. Whether it's a young kid that needs help walking through Help Me Grow, or someone that needs the mental health stuff, like those community services that Claremont County provides actually impact the most needy people in our community. John, you went ahead and called the TIFs incentives. You either are being dishonest or you don't know about the TIF agreements. They are not incentives to the builders. We're not writing checks for $5 million to go ahead and dig up sewers and everything. You can go ahead and reach out to Rex Parsons. He has a lot of history on that right there. All that money, Ken, I know you know about the TIFs. I heard you were involved. Chris Moore, I believe you were involved with the TIFs from 20 years ago as well. Like, we can universally agree that they are not good agreements. They are total garbage. They are not builders incentives. And I would love if one of you guys want to go to the county commissioners meeting, and let's go ahead and light them up and tell them how much those TIFs are garbage. I'll gladly go down there with one of you guys. I'll take the day off work. We'll go to Bean and Brew, get a cup of coffee, and let's go to the county commissioner and say it's time to rescind these bullcrap deals that diverts money away from the fire department. Instead, you guys want to go ahead and lean on that post and use it as justification to conduct your greedy ways. So I got all sorts of other stuff here. I only got 17 seconds to go. With that being said, I think we're good to go. Oh, by the way, if the fire levy fails, which I hope it doesn't, I think the village is 100% to blame. You guys that create an environment that passing any levy is going to be.
If I may comment, at the time the TIFs went in place, which I believe cover Mr. Fisher's property, I was counsel for the township. Without speaking on behalf of the township, as I am no longer their counsel, I can truly represent that I would never enter into a deal for any community I represent that wasn't for the benefit of the community as its elected officials deemed appropriate. Thank you.
Mr. Gallagher.
Chuck Gallagher, Claremont County Airport. In reference to the new CRA map, I was wondering if somebody could give me some guidance on reading this thing. The legend on this thing is horrible, but is the pink the current CRA map, and is the gray what we're adding? Is the gray include some of the stuff we took out, some of the stuff we're adding? Okay, so is the gray, are we adding all the gray, or it's not designated as what's going to be added or what's not? I got this one from the state of Ohio, the ODOD. It amended 9/8/2025.
If that came from the state of Ohio, then that's the existing CRA. The pink is all of the properties that are currently in the CRA, and the gray are not in the CRA.
All right. And then, so the Hayes property that we're talking about CRA tonight is not in the CRA map, correct?
It's not currently in the CRA map.
It's not currently in the map.
It's not currently in the
Right, and I know it is. It's in the gray. I'm just confirming that. All right, and then the ordinance for the CRA map 2 that we're going to vote on tonight, does that show what properties we're adding or not?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
It does reflect all the properties that are to be considered in tonight's first read.
All right, and that'll be expressed when it's that time, I guess? You'll let us know. And that's something that gets approved by council, or does it just happen? Right, but it's no description. It just says first reading. It doesn't say what parcels are being added or anything in the agenda. So I don't. When he reads the ordinance, is he going to list out the parcels that are being added, or? I'm just asking stupid questions. That's what I. What's on the agenda? Just. All right. That's all I got.
Good evening. Can you hear me? If I do this? I don't want to hold it. Okay. Good evening. My name is Colleen Price, and I'm here tonight not as an opponent of growth, but as someone who believes Batavia deserves better than reckless development disguised as progress. We all want this village to thrive, to attract families, jobs, and opportunity. Our airport is an asset worth saving. And let's be honest, the village of Batavia is selling out its future. Despite clear opposition from residents of the village and township, our schools, and Cincinnati Joint Fire and EMS, this council keeps handing out new CRAs, tax abatements that enrich developers while draining the lifeblood from our community. Every single abatement strips critical funding from our schools, our fire department, our parks, our libraries, and dumps that burden on the rest of us. Our first responders are stretched thin. Our classrooms are crowded, and yet the giveaways keep coming. Our fire chief is here pleading for support. His levy should not be controversial, but you have made it so. That's not smart growth. That's corporate welfare at taxpayer expense. And now, on top of it, the village is pushing high-density housing next to the airport, ignoring serious public health concerns that every credible agency in this country has warned about. The EPA confirms piston engine planes are the largest source of airborne lead in the United States. The CDC states that no level of lead exposure is safe, especially for children and pregnant women. Studies show blood lead levels near airports as high as those in Flint, Michigan, and higher cardiovascular death among seniors. These aren't scare tactics, they're cold, documented facts, recognized by the EPA, CDC, and FAA. Once those homes are built, the exposure can't be undone. Other communities have already paid the price, facing multi-million-dollar cleanup costs and lawsuits, costs that could have been avoided with responsible zoning and development. So as Batavia charges ahead, approving dense housing beside the Claremont County Airport and using new CRAs to lure families into harm's way, I have to ask this council, when will this village admit that growth at any cost isn't progress if it weakens the very institutions that make Batavia worth living in? How can you claim to represent Batavia while ignoring the unified opposition of residents, schools, and first responders? Have any developers been required to provide a single public benefit, infrastructure, fire and EMS funding, school funding, safety improvements to offset the damage these abatements cause? Has an impact study been done and made public showing how these CRAs affect our schools, fire and EMS, and property taxes? Has any independent health assessment been conducted on the airborne lead risk next to the airport? And finally, to initiate a zoning review and pursue airport-compatible development that protects public health and preserves Batavia's future. Because the truth is this, our children, our schools, and our safety shouldn't be sacrificed for short-term gains or outside profit. Thank you. In this room.
Thank you, Colleen. Okay, that ends our, oh, Mr. Albright, I'm sorry. He took the list away before I read it again. Come on up.
Bill Albright here. You all need to fire that guy. You might not be under oath, but perjury, a lawyer should know all about. That's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard. You all got 1,400 homes, 500 apartments, not paying property taxes. They go into your general fund. You ain't funding the school. We'll start off again from your financial meeting, big mouth. You got your attitude with me. It don't take an attitude. It don't take AORC rules. It don't take a contract. How much money have you set aside, according to your minutes, for Streamside, Harvest Meadows, luxury apartments? A number. It don't take a secret recording to get a number. That's how the 23 million got heard. You and your big mouth. You're the auditor. Figure up the homes. 650 homes in Airport Views when you guys get past them lawsuits. You live in Streamside. They're all alike. You should pay $3,000. I paid $1,000 for a house a third yours. 3,000 times 650 times 15 years is $29.25 million, not 23. There ain't no deals. You don't go in a shady back room. You don't go in his little crooked office, make a deal. You're screwing over that school. You're screwing over that fire department. Roy's back there saying it takes all this money. You ain't paid nothing in 4 years. You owe him back pay. But you all want your hand out to get the fire department. I'll be damned if I'm paying anything while you guys get raises. We're tired of hearing about you guys raping and pillaging taxpayers out here. That's all you do. New cop cars, new dump trucks, new raises. Everybody gets a raise. $200,000, $50,000 grant. You're a public official. You just gave away $50,000. Why did you abstain? Tell me because you could, like you did the other night. That's horseshit. You're a public official. You work for these people. Why did you abstain? Do you own the company? Is it your brother? Is it your boyfriend? You live next door? That's pathetic, dude. It's one of your friends. Just like Bean and Brew. Your preacher, I don't give a shit who it is. Why did you abstain? Because it was appropriate for the issue. Well, there's only certain reasons you should have to abstain. And I exercised that for that reason. What was it?
Mr. Albright, it's always nice to hear from you.
Hey, whatever.
Well, thank you. I would note for the record, for the community, for your erstwhile camera, Mr. Staten abstained. The decision to abstain resides with any member of council at any time for any reason they deem appropriate. Everything else you've suggested, implied, or flat stated is simply incorrect, improper, and really does a disservice to this meeting tonight. Mr. Staten, you're correct.
$7 million in the hole.
Thank you.
I lived next door to the property, and I thought it was inappropriate to pass judgment on that property from my position here.
$50,000 to bring a transformer rehab place here. That's really going to attract people.
That is not anything to do with it.
All right, at this time, we're going to move on. Mr. Moore informed council that he would like to have a motion to adjourn to the executive session to consider a lawsuit brought against the village.
That's correct. I would ask for executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22 G3, or as I call it, the law of Ohio.
All in favor?
Wait a
By
minute.
roll? By roll? Okay, by roll.
I didn't see who made the motion. Was that Mr.?
Ben second.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I went too quick.
Okay, by roll. Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Ms. Cole?
Return out of executive session.
Did someone make a motion? So moved. Mr. Meyer,
Second.
Mr. Gibson.
By roll.
By roll, Mr. Gibson,
Yes.
Ms. Cole. Mr. Theobald.
Yes.
Mr. Stewart. Yes. Mr. Meyer. Yes. Mr. Staton. It is 8:15.
16.
8:16. All right.
All right, that leads us to Chief Williams. Sir.
This isn't who starts by who you belong to. I think so. Because he got almost nothing.
Council, September 2025's report. The police department would like to report that the fun fair was a success. There were no police contacts during the event. We'd also like to thank all the event organizers for their help making the event safe for everybody that attended. We'd also like to report the Downtown Showdown Car Show was also a success. No police contacts there, and it was also a great turnout. Lastly, the police department would like to congratulate Officer Ricky McAdams for reaching the level of professional SRO through the state SRO accreditation program. Please join me in congratulating Officer McAdams on his hard work and dedication to the SRO program. September, just numbers. They may be a little bit different from yours. It's my fault. I gave John the wrong numbers, so I apologize for that. Total calls for service were 275 calls for service, 48 traffic stops, 8 arrests, 22 citations, 34 written warnings, 8 auto accidents, 4 offense reports, 9 incident reports, and 1 public relations contact for the month. Any questions?
Anybody have a question for for Chief Williams?
The police night out was also a great event. Thank you for Sergeant Warner and everybody else who was working hard for that. It was well attended and a great event. Thank you for your report.
Thank you. I would also, thank you, sir. Like to say that it was a success. Obviously, that wasn't in September, but I'd like to thank everybody for their support on that. Great turnout. We enjoyed giving back to the community, so it was fun. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. All right, at this point, we're going to move to Mr. Moore.
Thank you. In the last month, at various matters, my office assisted the village in. One matter I wanted to bring everyone current on was that the trial that was scheduled for the CRA property did not take place last month. Originally, it was scheduled for September 9th. We received a call that in a joyous event, there was a grandchild born to a member of the court, and so the matter had to be continued. And then it was recontinued to September 25th, and the day before the hearing, a motion handwritten asking for a continuance was filed by Mr. Bach. The court at hearing on the 25th granted that motion as Mr. Bach stated he'd like to go seek counsel. The court granted that motion and did it suggest to him it might be easier to perhaps see to his property. I would note for everyone that subsequent to that, the case has been set for October 24th for follow-up hearing on the request to go seek counsel. It appears that Mr. Bach may have retained counsel, which we welcome, but that at least prior to counsel entering appearance, Mr. Bach has filed a handwritten motion with the court suggesting that the court's order from almost 6 years ago is somehow defective. I drove by the property tonight, did take pictures. I counted 17 vehicles parked on the parking area. So we will have a hearing on the 24th, at which point the case, a new trial date will be set. We will find out if Mr. Bach has retained counsel as he asked the court for time to do. Other matters which we have seen to in the last month were just some general discussions with the village in respect to personnel matters, review of some contracts and contractual matters, and otherwise reviewing the ongoing litigation pending. And that's it. That was it this month.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. At this point, let's turn to the village administrator, Mr. Kingeis.
Thank you. I'd first like to thank Karen and Batavia Township for including the village in their Touch-a-Truck program. My understanding is it went very well, and we appreciate the cooperation between the village and the township of that. The mayor and Mr. Staten continue to interview candidates for the fiscal officer position, so that process continues to go on. As was stated earlier, the new proposed CRA map is on the website. That includes all of the Bauman property and the Hayes property that has been annexed into the village, as well as 5 parcels from Clark Street in that. So there will be the first reading of that this evening. The creation of that is similar in design to the existing CRA, but one of the things that this allows the council to do by creating a new CRA is to continue to negotiate, hopefully with the fire district on that, to provide some funding for them for the new development. I've initiated some, actually a notice to the fire chief for that. I think that was tabled at the fire board the last meeting. Hopefully that will be readdressed, and the chief and I can begin in earnest talking about the proposal to compensate them throughout the CRA if council moves forward with the CRA after the 3 readings. Late today, I received notice that the trunk or treat has been canceled, and that the person that originated the event or whatever decided that they wanted to postpone that for this year and begin working on a couple of other things in the meantime of that. We'll put a notice on our sign that has been canceled, and that will not occur. We did create a cybersecurity policy that was approved by the solicitor. That is for action by the council tonight to approve at least a first reading or for a first reading on that. And ODOT and Harold Road, if you've been up there to look at that, that seems to be functioning very well now. It's significantly safer. To the best of my knowledge, there have been no crashes since the village created the temporary restricted movement onto Harold Road. The Public Works Department has had to go up there and replace some of the delineators, which are the sticks in the ground. Those have been struck a few times in that, and we anticipated that, particularly during the learning phases of that new movement and everything associated with that. The actual project itself is moving forward. ODOT has indicated that they would like to expedite that and move it along as quickly as they can. That still means that it won't be constructed, construction won't start until the earliest is 2026 on the permanent improvements, but the permanent improvements will mirror the temporary improvements on State Route 32 and Harold Road, both north and south. And that concludes my report.
Mr. Geis, with the permanent improvements, will those delineators be gone and it'll be an actual turn lane? And do you know, are those staying?
There may be some delineators that are there, but the actual intersection of 32 will be in concrete then, and it will specifically prohibit a vehicle from navigating any way but the north movement onto Harold Road.
And I think there's been some confusion that I've seen from some people, but there will be turnarounds for emergency, I believe, east and west of that. Is that correct? Is that part of the permanent improvement,
No,
doing turnarounds?
There will not be any public turnarounds east or west of that. There will be an emergency
Emergency, yes.
An
sorry.
emergency turnaround, yes,
Okay.
for that.
Any other questions for Mr. Geis? All right, thank you, sir. That leads us to Mr. Chip Stewart, our zoning commissioner. Thank you.
Good evening. As far as the zoning permits, we have 203 so far year-to-date. New home permits are up to 13 in Streamside. They've started selling in that last development. I think I got 3 more in today, so that'll add to that. Harvest Meadows, we're up to 83 new home permits there so far for a total of 96 issued new home permits for the year. Zoning violations, I'm currently working on 10. Violations that are still in the court process are 4. Still waiting on a response from Verizon regarding the status of the last cell tower. I did see a vehicle out there today. I'm not sure if that was somebody working on that today, but I'm going to reach out tomorrow to find out. Zoning cases, we have 2 scheduled for next Tuesday, October 21st. The first one is a sign variance for the Fraternal Order of Eagles, and the second one is a preliminary development plan for the Bunnell Hill development, which is on the east side of Harold Road on the north side of 32 for a housing unit development there. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Mr. Stewart? Thanks, sir. That leads to the mayor's opportunity to speak. Halloween this year will be, although I'm not the mayor, I'm just taking the turn. Halloween will be Friday, October 31st from 6 to 8. The election this year will be Tuesday, November 4th. And we would like to thank Mr. Dan Haglage for hosting the Meet the Candidates, albeit on top of my election year once again, as I joked before. But thank you for that. On the 8th, we had that meeting. And that's about all we have. Mr. John Waite, Fiscal Officer, for some legislation.
I submitted a report, report on finances to council. The village offers comp time as an alternative for employees that want to defer payment for overtime. I've been asked by the police department to see if we could increase the allowable comp time. Our personnel policy states you can't have more than 40. We currently have 1 police officer who has 91 hours. We're going to scale that back. The police chief thinks that 80 hours is a doable maximum. And so he asked that we see if council be willing to increase the maximum allowable from 40 to 80. The officer that's above that will not be able to accumulate any more, and as he uses his existing comp time, we'll get it down to either the 80 or 40, depending upon what council decides.
If our policy was 40, how do you get to 91? I think that's my question. And is it not a set policy? Would this be us putting a policy in place?
The reason, well, ultimately, I'm responsible for not clicking on a box in the payroll unit that prohibits that. But the police department has a separate personnel policy from the village one. And theirs may have allowed more than 40, but we wanted to standardize that for everyone.
So after this, we're saying that the village and the police department and
Right.
Public Works, everything would be under the same policies. What we're doing here, is that?
Yes, at least for the comp time, yes.
Okay. Is there any financial liabilities for us increasing this from 40 to 80?
No,
Is there
you
deferred-
can either pay overtime now or you can defer it later. The comp time has primarily been used by new employees who start out with no vacation time and accumulate 3 hours per pay period, so that at the end of the year they've accumulated 2 weeks of vacation, which they would use in the following year. This accumulating comp time allows them to have some additional early vacation time, and that's very attractive for them.
I understand it, but like from a budget perspective, we're
No.
budgeting for
It
40
does-
hours a week, and now somebody may have 160 hours if they wanted to
Well,
change it in the
again,
contract.
you can either have paid their overtime now or
Sure.
pay it next month. It doesn't make any difference.
John, is the comp time accrued at the straight time rate, or is it accrued at an overtime rate if they,
It's at the overtime rate. So if they've got 1 hour of overtime, they would accumulate an hour and a half of comp time if they don't take the overtime pay.
and do any of our administrative staff get comp time?
I do not. I don't get any overtime or comp time. Kelly is part-time, so she doesn't have any of that. The only other person is Chip, who I assume could get comp time, but hasn't to date.
Is there an annual limit on the accrual of comp time, or is it just, you want to raise it to 80 and then, you know, they'll burn that and then accrue another 80?
Is there a cap to the 40 annual?
No, it's not, no, you can hold it. It doesn't disappear at the end of the year.
But now we're capping it at 80, so nobody will be able to go beyond 80.
No one can go beyond 80, but you don't have to use it. You can sit on it for a year.
I guess the question is, from Mr. Staton, if I had 80 hours and I used 40, can I reaccrue to 80 and take another week? Can I just keep rolling it, like, or is it capped 80 max for the entire year?
You can go up or down. If you used 40, you could go back to 80 if you had 40 hours of overtime that you didn't want to get paid for.
In other words, you can still accumulate, if you take 40 hours, you can still accumulate it back up to 80.
Having said that, council can do anything they want.
It kind of sounds like this is a lot of the police force. Chief, do you have any problems with this? This is requested by you? Okay. Okay. Sure. Sure, and also to regulate overtime, things like that, yes. If we kept this at 40, we're not going to take away from the person who has.
No, if you kept it at 40, the person, anyone with more than 40 could not accumulate anymore, and as they utilized their existing comp time and got it down under 40, then they could, once again, accumulate up to 40, up to whatever maximum you set.
One question I got is, say if they got 80 hours and for some reason they leave the department, are they paid out that 80 hours?
Yes, because they've earned the time, just like if they got, if it had been paid out as overtime. So, people that leave would be able, they would be paid out for unused comp time that they have accumulated.
Vacation and sick leave?
They get paid for unused vacation time, and they get paid for sick time depending upon how they leave, why they leave, and there's a cap of 960 hours of sick time. I'm sorry, 640 hours of sick time that you can get paid out for.
In a personal preference, I'd rather keep it at 40, encourage the use of it, rather than making it up, so.
I have no feeling one way or the other. I was just asking council what they wanted to do. If you don't want to, it's fine. So I'll ask a question. Does anyone want to make a motion to raise it to 80? Okay, Mr. Stewart. Is there a second from anyone?
I'll second it.
Ms. Cole? I will ask by roll then. Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Ms. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Theobout?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart? Yes. Mr. Meyer? No. Mr. Staton? Yes. Okay. We will raise it to 80. Next item is insurance. The village has a major medical insurance, and then we self-insure for smaller amounts. We use a company called ClaimLinks to administer that self-insurance. As part of that, ClaimLinks has offloaded the pharmacy processing to, I don't know if it's a subsidiary of theirs or a partner of theirs called APRO-RX. At any rate, we get new contracts with all our health companies every year, and APRO-RX has asked us to sign a renewal for a year for them to process pharmacy claims through ClaimLinks. I've given everybody a copy of that agreement. It's continues at what it has been this year. So I just wanted a motion to authorize the contract renewal. Okay. Mr. Meyer, Mr. Gibson. By roll, Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Ms. Cole? Yes. Mr. Theobout?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart? Yes. Mr. Meyer? Yes. Mr. Staton? Yes. Thank you. Okay, now we've got a bunch of legislation. I have a third reading of Ordinance 155225, which is adopting temporary appropriations for 2026. That allows us to pay bills in the first 3 months of 2026 because all 2025 appropriations expire at the end of this year. So, do I have a motion to approve Ordinance 155225?
So moved.
Mr. Theobout.
Second.
Mr. Gibson. By roll, Mr. Gibson.
Yes.
Ms. Cole.
Yes.
Mr. Theobout.
Yes.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
Mr. Meyer. Yes. Mr. Staton. Yes. Thank you. Okay, then I've got legislation that is just first readings. I've got an ordinance 155325 adjusting the wages for the police chief for next year. This is a first reading. Basically, all of these adjustments are of 5%. I've got a resolution 38325 adjusting the police officer's wage schedule for 2025, a first reading. Have any questions on these? I can stop.
I have a question on 38625. 38625 is a contract and not an employee wage increase. Normally, contracts would be negotiated by the village administrator, but since this contract concerns the village administrator's company, the village administrator obviously would not be able to negotiate both sides of the contract. And clerk treasurer under, I believe in Ohio, is not authorized, and we don't have an ordinance authorizing the clerk treasurer to negotiate a contract. Also, at the time of the finance meeting, Mr. Geis expressed that he had not asked for a wage increase. So I think it's inappropriate to put this in here automatically with a wage increase, since nobody present had the ability or the authority to negotiate such increase on a contract. I think it's both.
And I'll ask Mr. Moore here, is this something that the mayor himself would help negotiate? Is that something that would be
The mayor could negotiate it. It could be referred to a committee. It could be, I mean, the answer is yes.
Well, or council has ultimate authority, and I presented it as an option. If council wishes to come up with a different amount, you can designate whatever you want. That's, you're in control, and this is just the first reading. So if you wish to have any other amount, let me know. We can make that adjustment and approve for a second reading at the next meeting. Again,
I think Steve and I were kind of on the same wavelength here, but we'd like for maybe the mayor to enter into that negotiation and then bring it to council would be what we were thinking. Is that, that's what I'm thinking.
Yes, I think the mayor would have to bring it to council because the spending authority would be the mayor's authority to enter into this contract, I believe.
yes, well,
I mean, because it's a contract, we kind of need, basically, we're not gonna put out an RFP, but I would expect Mr. Rice to present the contract for next year, and we would determine if we want to enter into that contract.
all right, well,
My only objection to this is that the contract is supposed to a normal employee. Mr. Rice isn't a normal employee.
okay, but for legal purposes, I've got to go down the list, and you jumped ahead. So, no, I'm just saying I need to go down the list. So, 1553 is a first reading for wages for the police chief. Resolution 38325 is a first reading for police officers. 384 is a resolution for public works employees. 385 is, as you mentioned, a contract, and we'll get that, whatever you want at the second reading. I'm sorry, 385 is for the administrative staff, which is Kelly and Chip. 386 is the contract for Mr. Geis.
And I'm just to jump in for clarification, 386 is to adjust the existing contract, not a,
Yes.
not a new contract.
Right. Thank you. 387 is a cybersecurity program that the village is required to do by House Bill 6, where every entity in the state of Ohio is required to adopt a cybersecurity policy. 388 is a resolution establishing a community reinvestment area 2, which again is a addition of the Bauman Lane Taylor Road subdivision, as well as 5 parcels on Clark Street. And 389 is a resolution designating both People's Bank and Fifth Third Bank as authorized depositories for public funds. That's by Ohio Revised Code. You have to do that every 5 years.
Are those the two current banks we're currently using?
Yes. I have no other items.
Thank you, Mr. You can't have two mics on side by side, apparently. Thank you, Mr. Waite. Okay, that moves us to our meetings. Our next zoning, planning and zoning commission meeting will be Tuesday, October 21st at 7 p.m. Our next finance committee meeting will be Thursday, October 23rd at 6. p.m. And our second October regular council meeting will be held on Monday, October 27th at 7 p.m.
And we need it.
if needed, and it sounds like we're scheduled.
We're gonna have one.
Any additional questions or comments, new business from council?
Yes, I wanted to, in fashion with what I started last month, I wanted to kind of go over what we talked about in our committee meeting. So we had a finance committee meeting at the end of September where we discussed total debt that the Village of Batavia has. Looking over it, the majority of the actual loans themselves, the majority of them are no-interest loans through the Ohio Public Works. So there is no interest accrued on those. The two largest ones we have, the largest one is the Main Street redevelopment program. I believe it was done in 2013. It's refinanced in 2020 for a better rate on that loan. So that is our largest loan. The second largest and the only two, that one and this one are the only two that we have that are over $1 million, is the stream-side assessment. So this was what was put in place. Mr. Geis, am I wrong for calling this a bond? Or is that correct? The stream-side?
I'm not certain. What was your question?
The stream-side assessment, am I wrong for calling that a bond? I don't know why that's in my head, but I don't think it's right.
There was a bond issue.
Okay, so it was a bond
There is a
to,
bond issue.
yeah, to begin the stream-side development. So at Harvest Meadows, and that is, we talked about, that is the pass-through debt from the pilot payment, so that is going to pay those for the people who live in stream-side. For Harvest Meadows, for the apartments, and the potential for the Sugar Ridge development, there will not be a bond taken out on those. So there will not be pilot payments unless we can work something out with the, but that wouldn't be debt, something out with the school and fire department. So the debt that we saw potentially coming for the future would be the new dump truck, as well as any cars. Well, we talked about the police cars wouldn't be an added debt to it, so. We also talked about at the finance meeting that we talked about, would it be beneficial for the village to pay these off early? Obviously the no interest loans, we discussed it wouldn't be beneficial because we're not charged interest. For the larger loans, we cannot pay them off early, so that's part of the contract as well. So we will owe those through the life of their loan. We discussed the amount of revenue to debt, so our debt service for the year. So we were talking about it in total, we were looking at a 15% debt to revenue. So the debt payments that are made by the village every year is 15% of our revenue that we collect. So we did feel like that was in a good place. Does anybody have any questions about what we discussed at the finance meeting from council? Okay.
Anyone else have any comment or question or new biz? With that, I move to adjourn.
So moved.